Commander Chen follows President Santos through the secure corridor leading away from the diplomatic chamber, their footsteps echoing against marble floors. Security personnel create a protective formation around them, expressions grim beneath professional composure. They're not here to make friends, Chen states once the soundproof doors of the crisis room seal behind them. The gathered military and scientific leaders shift uncomfortably as holographic displays activate, showing the Kelveran vessels in high orbit. This assessment is either a test we're meant to fail or a pretense for something worse. Defense Secretary Okonkwo nods grimly. Their technology outclasses our most advanced systems by centuries. If they decide to attack, conventional defenses would be meaningless. President Santos remains standing, hands planted firmly on the conference table. Then we find unconventional defenses. Commander Chen, I'm appointing you to lead our response team. You have full authority to requisition whatever resources you need. A scientist with disheveled hair and intense eyes speaks up. Conventional thinking won't save us. The Kelverans clearly operate on different scientific principles than we do. That might be our advantage. They'll expect us to approach problems as they would. Dr. Wang, I presume? Chen asks, recognizing the renowned physicist from briefing files. Wang nods. Their ships use crystalline-based technology. The energy signatures suggest they've mastered quantum field manipulation, but their approach seems inflexible, methodical to a fault. While we're messy, improvisational, and unpredictable, Chen completes the thought, a slight smile forming. Qualities they clearly find distasteful. The meeting continues deep into the night as humanity's representatives debate strategies for facing an impossible challenge. Meanwhile, across the city, Prime Facet Zix Era enters the Kelveran Temporary Embassy, a converted historical building whose interior now gleams with imported crystalline technology. Assessment parameters established. Asks Sub-Facet Kelamira, the mission's scientific overseer. Parameters accepted. Zix Era confirms, faceted eyes glinting in the specialized lighting. Their emotional responses suggest they recognize the impossibility of success, yet they persist in planning resistance. Fascinating, Kelamira notes, recording observations. Most species accept their classification once our technological superiority is demonstrated. These humans display irrational determination. The Concordat has encountered similar primitives before. Zix Era dismisses. Their resistance will follow predictable patterns until resources or morale depletes. I've arranged an appropriately impossible challenge, establishing a colony on their Europa within their limited solar rotations. The Ice Moon. Without terraforming assistance, Kelmira's crystalline form vibrates with what approximates amusement. They'll never succeed. Their propulsion technology alone requires months to reach the Jupiter system. Precisely. Zix Era activates a communication channel to the fleet. Begin resource survey protocols. Earth shows exceptional mineral and biological diversity. Once classified as a resource world, extraction yields should exceed projections. Neither Kelveran notices the miniature drone, disguised as an ordinary insect. Perched in the shadows of an ornate cornice, its advanced microphones, capturing every word of their conversation. The drone transmits encrypted data to a waiting receiver in Commander Chen's pocket, confirming her worst suspicions and stealing her resolve. Humanity's time has come to prove its strength among the stars, whether the Kelverans desire it or not. Project Prometheus transforms a decommissioned military base in the Nevada desert into a hive of frantic innovation. Prefabricated buildings sprout across the landscape overnight. Security checkpoints control access to specialized laboratories, where Earth's brightest minds work around the clock. Dr. Wang stands before a holographic simulation of her experimental dry system, dark circles under her eyes betraying 3 consecutive days without proper sleep. The blue light of the projection casts ghostly shadows across her face as she manipulates equations with quick gestures. The principle is sound, she explains to Admiral Harrison and Commander Chen as they observe. Instead of pushing against space, we create a localized distortion, essentially pulling space itself toward us. while pushing it away behind. Like sailing a ship by controlling the wind and currents rather than just using engines, Chen suggests, studying the simulation. Wang nods. Exactly. The Kelverans use brute force approaches, massive energy expenditure to achieve velocity. They've never explored this method because their crystalline technology excels at energy manipulation, but lacks flexibility for space-time distortion. Harrison studies the equations with a skeptical expression. Can we build this in time? The prototype is already functioning at small scale, Wang replies, leading them to a sealed chamber where a softball-sized metallic sphere hovers above a complex apparatus. The challenge is scaling up while maintaining stability. Across the compound, Captain Reed supervises habitat construction simulations. Engineers and survival specialists gather around mock-ups of modular structures designed to withstand Europa's harsh conditions. We'll have 96 hours to establish basic life support once we land, Reed explains to his team. After that, our portable oxygen systems will deplete beyond safe margins. A young engineer raises her hand. Sir, what about the radiation from Jupiter? The shielding required would add tons to our payload. Reed points to a cross-section diagram of Europa's ice crust. That's why we're not staying on the surface. We'll use thermal drilling arrays to create shafts through the ice. The water below and ice above will provide natural radiation shielding. Underwater habitats. Someone questions. The pressure will be managed using reinforced structures based on deep-sea research stations. Reed interrupts. Those designs already exist. We're adapting, not inventing from scratch. In the training facility next door, prospective colonists endure grueling simulations of Europa conditions. 500 candidates will ultimately be selected from thousands of volunteers, scientists, engineers, medical professionals, and military specialists willing to risk everything. Meanwhile, Commander Chen meets with her tactical team, reviewing surveillance gathered from the Kelveran embassy. They're already preparing resource surveys, she informs them grimly. They have no intention of honoring their supposed assessment. This is reconnaissance for invasion. Should we alert the public? Asks her communications officer. Chen shakes her head. Not yet. Mass panic won't help. We need the world united behind Project Prometheus, while we quietly prepare contingencies. She activates a secure display showing classified military installations worldwide. Operation Lighthouse stays completely compartmentalized for now. Outside the facility, the desert night turns suddenly to artificial day as engineers test experimental fusion reactors designed to power the colony ships. The brilliant light briefly illuminates a Kelveran observation craft hovering at the edge of visual range, its crystalline structure fragmenting the glare into prismatic patterns. Inside the alien vessel, a Kelveran observer records the human activity with detached curiosity, completely unaware that the light show below is partially staged for their benefit, a calculated distraction from the real breakthroughs happening in shielded subterranean laboratories, where Wang's gravitational field manipulators grow larger and more powerful by the day. The Defiance drifts silently, its emergency lights casting a dull red glow throughout the corridors. Captain Reed floats through the central hub, magnetic boots disengaged to conserve power. The faces of his crew reflect both fear and determination as damage reports continue to stream in. Primary life support operating at 28% capacity. Lieutenant Cho reports, her voice steady despite the situation. Oxygen recyclers are failing sequentially. We have 48 hours before levels become critical. Reed studies the holographic schematics highlighting the damaged sections in angry red. The meteoroid impact had been surgically precise, almost as if guided. A thought he keeps to himself for now. The Resilience and Hope are maintaining course to Europa, he tells his assembled team. We can't risk delaying the mission. Commander Chen has authorized emergency EVA repairs. With what equipment? Engineering Chief Santos asks. Half our repair fabricators were destroyed in the impact. Reed activates his personal tablet, displaying a hastily assembled inventory. We'll use components from non-essential systems, environmental controls in unoccupied sections, entertainment systems, backup navigation. That's not in any repair protocol, Santos protests. Which is why it might work. Reed counters. The Kelverans expect us to follow standard procedures. We'll improvise instead. Aboard the lead Kelveran observation vessel, Science Overseer, Kelmira monitors the humans with growing interest. The damaged vessel should be requesting emergency assistance. Their protocols indicate they should abandon ship. Yet they attempt repairs with inadequate tools, notes tactical analyst Vextrol. Probability of success, less than 12%. Record all their activities, Kelmira orders. These behavioral anomalies warrant study. Back on the Defiance, Reed leads a team of 6 engineers through the airlock. Their movements are methodical despite the urgency of their situation. Each carries repurposed components and tools modified for their unintended purpose. According to standard engineering principles, this should be impossible, Reed says over the comlink as they approach the damaged hull section. Fortunately, no one told the problem that. The repair team works in pairs, their spacesuits glittering in Jupiter's distant light. They cannibalize parts from secondary systems, creating hybrid connections between incompatible components. When standard tools fail, they improvise, at one point using the focused heat from a handheld thruster to weld a crucial junction. Inside the Defiance, Dr. Patel, the ship's medical officer, monitors the team's vital signs. Their core temperatures are dropping, she reports to Lieutenant Cho. The suits weren't designed for extended EVA near Jupiter. They should be experiencing extreme fatigue and cognitive impairment. Yet the team continues working, hour after hour, far beyond expected human endurance. When Reed's hands become too numb to manipulate fine components, Engineer Yoshida takes over the delicate work. When Yoshida's suit registers dangerous oxygen levels, Technician Dias shares her reserve supply. In the Kelveran observation vessel, alarms trigger as their predictive models repeatedly fail to accurately forecast human behavior. They're exceeding biological limitations, Kelmira reports to Prime Facet Sixera. They're sacrificing individual safety for collective success. This pattern is concerning. After 18 hours of continuous work, Reed's team returns to the airlock, their makeshift repairs complete. The Defiance's life support systems reactivate, not only restored but operating at higher efficiency than before the impact due to creative reconfiguration of the recycling algorithms. As the 3 colony ships continue their journey, accelerating at speeds the Kelverans calculated to be impossible, urgent communications flash between the alien vessels. For the first time, their reports to the High Command include a qualifier previously unused regarding humans. Caution advised. Commander Chen's team establishes a command center within the largest subsurface cavern, now designated Alpha Hub. Holographic displays project structural integrity readings and atmospheric data across curved ice walls that shimmer with embedded microbial life. Engineers install geothermal taps into the moon's warmer regions below, each successful connection bringing additional power to the growing network of habitats. Remarkable adaptation rate, observes Kelveran scientific observer Traskell from the orbiting monitoring station. They've established functional living spaces in less than 26 rotations. Yet still vulnerable, notes military adjunct Vexapor dismissively. One significant current shift would collapse their entire operation. As if summoned by these words, alarms blare throughout Alpha Hub. Dr. Wong rushes to the environmental monitoring station, where Lieutenant Park displays a 3-dimensional map of the surrounding water currents. Massive thermal upwelling detected 12 kilometers below our position, Park explains, highlighting a violent swirl of warm water rising from Europa's depths. Simulation suggests it will reach our level in approximately 40 minutes. Chen studies the projection. Impact assessment. The moorings weren't designed for this current intensity, Wong replies grimly. We're looking at structural failure across 60% of our anchoring systems. Word spreads quickly through the colony. Evacuation protocols initiate for non-essential personnel, but Chen knows the ships cannot accommodate everyone, nor could they launch in time. A more immediate solution is needed. We need to reinforce the primary tethers. Engineer Martinez suggests during the emergency council. But the exterior temperature and pressure, not to mention the radiation bleeding through the thinner ice sections, adds Medical Officer Rossi. Exposure would exceed safe limits within hours. Chen surveys her team. I need volunteers with deep-sea experience. 3 should be sufficient. Martinez steps forward immediately. I worked underwater welding rigs in the Arctic. Engineers Okonkwo and Rashid join him. We've both done pressure chamber testing for the Mariana Research Station. Okonkwo states, we understand the risks. The Kelveran observers track the humans' biosigns as the 3 engineers don specialized environmental suits and exit through the pressure locks. Their crystalline computing systems calculate a 97% probability of mission failure based on known human endurance limitations and the extreme conditions outside. They will be forced to retreat within 5 hours. Vexpor predicts confidently. Biological imperatives will override mission parameters. The engineers work methodically in the frigid water, their powerful external lights illuminating an alien seascape where ice formations meet liquid water in fantastic sculptures. They reinforce primary anchors first, then secondary connections. When standard methods prove inadequate, they improvise, using heated sections of spare hull material to create new anchoring points within the ice itself. Hours pass, then half a day. Warning indicators flash insistently within their helmets, core temperature dropping, radiation exposure mounting, oxygen reserves depleting. Yet they continue. In the Kelveran observation vessel, Traskell stares at the monitoring equipment in disbelief. 19 hours. They've been working for 19 continuous hours in conditions that should render them unconscious or dead. Impossible. Vexpor insists, recalibrating sensors. Their biological processes cannot sustain such effort. When the engineers finally return through the airlock, medical teams rush to assist them. Hypothermia, radiation exposure, extreme fatigue, all are present yet somehow less severe than expected. More importantly, the colony's anchoring system now exceeds original stability specifications by 23%. As Europa's first sunrise in thousands of years illuminates the ice above through newly installed light channels, Kelveran High Command receives an unprecedented update from their observation team. The message contains an advisory never before applied to a species under assessment. Recommend revised classification. Potential threat. The captured Kelveran scout ship becomes a focal point of intense study in a secure section of Europa Colony Alpha. Dr. Wong leads a team of engineers and physicists working around the clock to decipher alien technology that operates on principles fundamentally different from human science. The vessel's crystalline components seem to function as both circuitry and energy conduits simultaneously. Their entire technological approach is based on harmonics, Wong explains to Commander Chen during a private briefing. She activates a holographic display showing microscopic scans of Kelveran components. These structures vibrate at specific frequencies to channel energy, process information, even maintain structural integrity. Chen studies the display. And we can disrupt these frequencies. Theoretically. Wong gestures to a small device on the table between them, an unassuming cylinder with adjustable settings. This prototype can generate targeted sonic pulses that interfere with their crystalline resonance patterns. We've only tested it on non-essential components from the scout ship, but the results are promising. Meanwhile, Prime Facet 6 Era's diplomatic shuttle docks with the habitat's primary airlock. The Kelveran delegation moves through decontamination procedures with obvious disdain, their crystalline forms catching lights and dancing patterns across the walls. We come to offer assistance following your unfortunate system failures, Zix Era announces upon entering the command center. 2 Kelveran guards flank the ambassador, their translucent appendages never straying far from what appear to be ceremonial crystals at their sides. Chen welcomes them with practiced diplomacy, offering a tour of the damaged areas while discreetly activating the recording devices hidden throughout the colony. The Kelverans move with calculated precision, scanning equipment with tiny devices they believe escape human notice. Your adaptation to these harsh conditions is unexpected, Zixera admits reluctantly. Though without proper power restoration, your colony will ultimately fail. In an adjacent chamber, Captain Reed and his security team monitor every movement of the Kelveran visitors through concealed cameras. They're scanning our power distribution network, technical specialist Lopes observes, focusing especially on junction points Theta through Kappa. Reed nods grimly. The exact locations they targeted during the attack. When the delegation returns to the command center, they find Chen sitting calmly beside a large screen displaying multiple camera angles of Kelveran vessels performing surgical strikes against the colony's power infrastructure. The timestamp shows footage from 3 days earlier. Interesting timing for your visit, Prime Facet. Chen remarks coolly, activating additional screens showing detailed scans of Kelveran energy signatures matching those from the attacking vessels. Zixera's crystalline surface flickers with unusual patterns, the Kelveran equivalent of discomfort. These recordings are clearly fabricated. The Concordat offers assistance, not aggression. Chen picks up Wong's prototype device. We've learned much about Kelveran physiology from our captured scout ship. She adjusts a setting, and a barely perceptible hum fills the room. The effect on Zixera is immediate and dramatic. Hairline fractures spread across the ambassador's crystalline surface, causing the translator to emit a high-pitched whine. The Kelveran guards move to intervene, but freeze when their own structures begin showing similar stress patterns. Fascinating, Chen observes, deactivating the device. Your bodies operate on the same harmonic principles as your technology. She leans forward. Now let's discuss what happens next. Your sabotage failed. We've adapted. And now we understand your fundamental weakness. For the first time since the Kelverans arrived in Earth's orbit, their diplomatic veneer shatters completely. Zixera's next words come without translation, transmitted directly to the orbiting fleet in the Kelveran's native crystalline language, a frantic, urgent warning that humanity is far more dangerous than anyone had anticipated. The inevitable dominance launches its first wave of attack vessels toward Earth's atmosphere. The crystalline ships descend in perfect geometric formations, weapons primed to neutralize the primitive defenses Supreme War Facet Morthilak believes humans capable of mounting. In the command center beneath Geneva, Admiral Harrison activates the Global Defense Network. Operation Lighthouse, full deployment, he orders. His staff moves with practiced efficiency, their months of secret preparation now revealed. Across 6 continents and Earth's oceans, concealed installations emerge from underground bunkers, desert sands, and ocean depths. The technology appears deceptively simple: arrays of satellite dishes, antenna fields, and transmitter towers, nothing like the energy weapons the Kelverans anticipated. The humans deploy communication equipment as defense. Morthilak's tactical officer questions incredulously. Scanning reveals no significant weaponry. Morthilak studies the readings with growing suspicion. Proceed with caution. Their behavior consistently defies prediction. Admiral Harrison gives the activation command. The defense grid powers up, nodes pulsing with energy calibrated to precise frequencies identified from the captured Kelveran scout ship. A complex interference pattern forms in Earth's upper atmosphere, invisible to the naked eye, but devastating to crystalline structures. The first wave of Kelveran ships enters the field. For 3 seconds, nothing happens. Then catastrophe strikes their fleet. Hairline fractures spread across their hulls. Weapon crystals shatter, and navigation systems disintegrate. 27 attack ships break apart, their fragments falling harmlessly into the ocean as their emergency containment fields activate. Impossible. Morthilak rages, his crystalline form vibrating with fury. They cannot possess technology capable of. Supreme War Facet interrupts his communications officer. We're detecting unauthorized transmissions on Concordat frequencies. Throughout the galaxy, on planets controlled by the Kelveran hierarchy, Commander Chen's message broadcasts simultaneously, piggybacking on the Concordat's own communication network. Her image appears in councils, homes, and gathering places across 17 subjugated worlds. People of the Concordat. She begins, I am Commander Eliza Chen of Earth. The Kelverans have deceived you for centuries. There is no assessment program for new species, only conquest disguised as evaluation. Today, we demonstrate that resistance is possible. The broadcast shows Kelveran ships disintegrating against Earth's defenses, followed by detailed schematics of the sonic disruption technology. We offer this knowledge freely to all who seek freedom. The Kelverans are vulnerable. Their crystalline biology cannot withstand specific harmonic frequencies that we have identified and can now share with you. On the Nyari homeworld, Ambassador Zithlar watches the broadcast in the privacy of his hibernation chamber, mandibles clicking with long-suppressed excitement. The insectoid being activates an ancient communication system, unused for generations, connecting resistance cells that have waited patiently for this moment. The time has come, Zithlar announces to his fellow resistance leaders. The humans have provided the key we've sought for 3 centuries. Aboard the inevitable dominance, Morphilac faces a crisis unprecedented in Kelveran history. Reports flood in of simultaneous uprisings on 7 worlds. The Supreme War Facet makes the only decision his rigid military doctrine allows. Deploy all reserves, he commands, his crystalline voice resonating with finality. Earth must be destroyed immediately, whatever the cost. Send the Annihilation Fleet. Deep within Europa Colony Alpha, Commander Chen receives the Nayari's encrypted transmission. She turns to Captain Reed and Dr. Wong with a determined expression. Phase 1 complete. Prepare for Phase 2. The battle for Earth's orbital space intensifies as the Kelveran Annihilation Fleet deploys its second attack wave. Learning from their initial failures, they adjust their ship's harmonic resonance patterns, partially neutralizing humanity's sonic disruption technology. In the Himalayan command bunker, Dr. Wong works frantically alongside the newly arrived Nayari engineers. The insectoid aliens' compound eyes reflect holographic displays as their dexterous limbs manipulate equipment with astonishing precision. Their adaptation was anticipated. Chich's senior engineer kizked of the Nayari. But observe this harmonic pattern. They can only shield against specific frequency ranges simultaneously. Wong nods, understanding immediately. We need to create a rotating frequency algorithm. Target different resonance patterns in sequence rather than simultaneously. Above them, the battle seems to favor the Kelverans as their ships press closer to Earth's atmosphere. Human defense installations suffer heavy damage from concentrated energy beams that slice through hardened bunkers with surgical precision. Defense grid at 62% capacity and falling, reports Lieutenant Commander Rodriguez at the Geneva Command Center. London and Nairobi sectors completely offline. Admiral Harrison studies the tactical display with narrowed eyes. Hold position. Maintain current frequency output. Give Dr. Wong the time she needs. In Earth's debris field, the remnants of old satellites and space stations, Captain Reed leads Operation Hornet's Nest from the bridge of the modified shuttle Persistence. His small fleet of 100 vessels appears insignificant against the massive Kelveran warships, yet they strike with devastating effectiveness. Remember your training. Reed broadcasts to his pilots. Target engines and communication arrays only. Hit and fade. Never maintain a predictable vector. The nimble human ships dart between debris chunks, using the cluttered environment to mask their movements from Kelveran targeting systems. They strike with precision sonic pulses, focusing on vulnerable connection points identified in the Nayari intelligence files. Their battle computers cannot predict our movements, Reed observes as another Kelveran supply ship loses propulsion after a coordinated strike. They expect mathematical precision, not human intuition. Meanwhile, Commander Chen's strike team approaches the inevitable dominance in vessels camouflaged with Nayari stealth technology. Their small craft appear as nothing more than sensor ghosts against Jupiter's massive radiation signature. Remember, Chen tells her team during final preparations, this isn't about destroying their command vessel. It's about sending a message that will reshape the Concordat. The boarding team launches from their transport, using specialized cutting tools to breach the dreadnought's outer hull through a maintenance access point. Alarms blare throughout the massive vessel as Kelveran security forces converge on the intrusion. Inside the Himalayan bunker, Dr. Wong completes the new frequency rotation algorithm. Uploading to remaining defense grid nodes now, she announces, her fingers flying across holographic controls. The effect is immediate and dramatic. Earth's defense installations pulse with changing frequency patterns that the Kelveran shields cannot adapt to quickly enough. Crystalline hulls fracture, weapon systems fail, and previously invulnerable warships begin to break apart. On the inevitable dominance, Commander Chen leads her assault team through crystalline corridors glittering with emergency lighting. They encounter heavy resistance but push forward methodically, their sonic disruptors clearing paths through Kelveran defenders whose crystalline forms shatter under precise frequency attacks. Command deck breach in 60 seconds, reports Chen's tactical officer as they reach the final security barrier. Throughout the Concordat, billions of beings across dozens of worlds watch the battle unfold through communication channels the Kelverans can no longer control. They witness something previously unimaginable. The invincible Kelveran fleet falling before a species that had discovered space travel less than a century earlier. The Unity completes final launch preparations in Earth's orbit, its sleek hull incorporating design elements from 6 different species. Human efficiency combines with Nayari precision, Volducree lightweight materials, and Drakari structural mathematics. Even Kelveran crystalline computing, now repurposed for peaceful applications, powers the ship's navigation systems. Commander Davis walks through the vessel's central corridor, nodding to crew members from various worlds. A Nayari engineer adjusts life support parameters for the diverse biological needs. 2 Volducree navigation specialists, their feathered appendages moving with delicate precision, calibrate stellar mapping equipment. Status report, Davis asks, entering the command deck. Lieutenant Kim turns from her station. All systems green, Commander. Dr. Wong's hybrid drive is operating at 108% of projected efficiency. The benefits of cross-species cooperation, Davis remarks, studying the readiness reports from each department. Everyone brings unique perspectives to solve common problems. In his private quarters, Davis reviews a message from Admiral Chen. The transmission includes updated diplomatic protocols for potential first contact scenarios and personal words of encouragement. Chen's final advice resonates particularly. Remember what separated us from the Kelverans: flexibility over rigidity, cooperation over domination, adaptation over tradition. These remain our greatest strengths as we venture further than any human has before. The launch ceremony connects representatives from 20 worlds through holographic presence. Admiral Chen stands aboard the Earth orbital platform, addressing the assembled dignitaries and billions watching throughout the Alliance. 3 years ago, humanity faced extinction at the hands of those who saw difference as weakness and diversity as disorder. Chen begins. Today we launch the most ambitious exploration vessel ever created, designed, and crewed by beings from across our galaxy, unified by shared values rather than forced compliance. Junior Facet Tixlaren represents the reformed Kelveran cooperative, his crystalline form refracting light in patterns that express humility, a concept foreign to his species before their defeat. We contribute to this mission with profound gratitude for the lesson humanity taught us. For millennia, we believed harmony required enforced structure. Humans demonstrated that true strength emerges from embracing diversity and adaptation. The Unity's mission parameters appear on displays throughout the vessel, to explore beyond known space, seeking new civilizations with offers of friendship and mutual exchange, rather than assessment or dominance. The crew of 300 represents the best qualities of their respective species: scientists, diplomats, engineers, and artists unified by curiosity and goodwill. As final launch countdown begins, Commander Davis addresses his crew. We carry with us not just the technology of multiple worlds, but their hopes and dreams as well. Our mission represents something unprecedented: genuine cooperation between species who once thought themselves fundamentally incompatible. The hybrid drive activates, creating rippling distortions in space-time that propel the massive ship forward at velocities once thought impossible. As Earth and the solar system recede behind them, the Unity accelerates toward unexplored regions where new challenges and discoveries await. In the ship's observation lounge, humans stand alongside beings of extraordinarily different biology and evolution, united in watching the stars streak past. Above them, inscribed in languages from across the galaxy, shines the simple phrase that captures their shared philosophy: together we reach farther than any could alone. The journey has just begun.